My friend, pause for a moment and let your heart be still. For what I am about to share is not a collection of words to be recited, but a living current of power, a formula for divine results. It is the missing prayer that most souls were never taught, yet it was always within them, waiting for discovery. Since the dawn of time, man has sought to speak with the infinite. He has built temples, chanted psalms, and knelt in silence. But few have understood that prayer is not asking. It is alignment. It is the science of tuning the human mind to the frequency of God's thought, so that the creative intelligence of the universe moves through you as naturally as the blood in your veins. When you utter words without faith, you create only sound. When you unite thought, emotion, and will, you create substance. The true prayer, the one that produces divine results, is not the whisper of the lips, but the decree of a conscious creator. Let me tell you the secret that the prophets knew and the masters lived. Every thought charged with emotion is a command to the infinite mind. The universe is not deaf to your cries. It is exact in its response. It mirrors the vibration you send. It gives you not what you wish, but what you are. And so, when men pray for prosperity while harboring fear of lack, their prayers are denied not by God, but by their own disbelief. When they pray for healing, yet cling to the identity of sickness, they block the flow of divine restoration. When they plead for peace but nourish resentment, they construct walls that heaven itself will not climb. Prayer is not a request. It is the recognition of your unity with the source. The missing formula begins with understanding that God does not respond to begging. He responds to being. When you become the thing you seek, you enter the current where miracles dwell. Let me break the silence of centuries and give you the structure of the prayer that manifests. It is composed of three sacred elements: recognition, acknowledging that the power which created the stars lives within you. You speak not to a distant deity, but to the infinite intelligence expressing itself through your mind and your breath. Identification, declaring your unity with that power until you no longer see yourself as separate, but as an instrument of divine will. Realization, feeling, seeing, and accepting the result as already accomplished until your entire being vibrates with the reality of its fulfillment. This is not theory, my friend. This is the law by which Christ performed his works, by which every sage drew heaven down to earth. The world calls it miracle. I call it conscious cooperation with universal law. When you learn to pray this way, you will cease asking for what you lack and begin affirming what already is. You will no longer say, "Lord, give me strength," but rather, "The strength of God moves through me now." You will not cry, "Lord, heal me," but declare, "The life of the infinite renews every cell of my being." That is the prayer never taught, the prayer of power. Let me speak to you plainly. When you pray, you are issuing an order to the subconscious mind. That mind, when impressed with feeling and conviction, sets in motion forces unseen, aligning people, events, and circumstances to fulfill your decree. If you pray in fear, you program confusion. If you pray in faith, you command precision. The infinite mind executes only the blueprint you provide. Therefore, the missing formula for divine results is not found in new words, but in a new state of consciousness. Close your eyes. Feel within yourself that quiet center, that sacred stillness that watches thought arise and fade. That is where true prayer begins. Speak from that silence, not from anxiety. Declare from that place of knowing, not hoping. Say within, "I and the infinite are one. The life that sustains the universe sustains me now. I am guided by divine intelligence, strengthened by divine power, and surrounded by divine love. That which I desire already exists in the unseen, and by my faith it now appears in form. I thank thee, infinite source, that it is so." Now, do not speak those words idly. Let them possess you. Let them vibrate through every nerve until your consciousness expands beyond the limits of the flesh. When you feel that still burning assurance, that quiet certainty, the prayer is complete. You have then prayed the prayer that works. For understand this eternal truth. The infinite does not move because you plead. It moves because you believe. Faith is the switch that turns on the power of creation. Gratitude is the seal that keeps the circuit alive. And sustained expectation is the bridge that carries the invisible into form. The average man prays once, then doubts 10 times. The wise man prays once, believes forever. This is the beginning of mastery, to transform prayer from superstition into science, from repetition into realization. The moment you know that your word is law to the universe, you step into your rightful dominion as a co-creator with God. Let the world chase methods and rituals. You, my friend, shall walk with power. For you have learned the secret that the ages concealed. True prayer is not speaking to God. It is speaking as God, not in arrogance, but in recognition that the spark of the infinite burns within you. To deny that is to deny your birthright. To claim it is to awaken the sleeping giant within. And when that giant rises, the universe rearranges itself to obey your conviction. In the next part of this discourse, I shall reveal how to sustain this state of divine alignment, how to protect it from doubt, and how to use it to produce tangible, measurable results in health, wealth, and destiny. But for now, let this truth settle deep within your soul. You were never meant to beg from the infinite. You were meant to command with it. My friend, now that you have glimpsed the true nature of prayer, the sacred art of commanding with the infinite, the next question arises like dawn after the night. How do I sustain it? How do I keep that flame alive when the winds of doubt blow against me? For it is one thing to touch the divine for a moment, and quite another to live there. The mountain peak gives vision, but the valley demands endurance. Yet it is in that endurance, in the art of holding faith steady while appearances scream the opposite, that the real transformation occurs. Understand this truth. Every prayer, once spoken with conviction, is instantly answered in the unseen. The answer begins its journey the moment you release it with faith. But between the invisible and the visible lies the bridge of time, and on that bridge, many lose heart. They begin to doubt, to question, to dig up the seed they planted, and thus, what was born in power dies in disbelief. To sustain the state of divine command, you must master the law of mental persistence. Let me speak to you plainly. Your mind is like a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you water faith today but fear tomorrow, you grow confusion. If you plant divine assurance in the morning and uproot it with anxiety at night, the soil becomes barren. But if you persist, if you refuse to accept appearances as final, the invisible must yield to your decree. That is not poetry, but law. The law of belief is as certain as the law of gravity, and it is written in the fabric of your being. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Therefore, sustaining the prayer of command requires discipline of thought, the most sacred form of discipline known to man. For your outer life is but a mirror of your inner dominion. If your thoughts remain aligned with divine certainty, no storm can touch your foundation. Now, there are 3 pillars upon which this sustained state rests. Engrave them upon the tablet of your mind, for they are the guardians of your creative power. 1. The pillar of awareness, guarding the door of the mind. The first step in sustaining divine command is to become aware, ruthlessly aware, of what thoughts you allow to dwell in your mental home. Every idea is a guest. Some come bringing gifts of peace, others come with daggers of fear. Your duty is to admit only those guests that serve your divine purpose. You would not allow a thief to enter your home, steal your treasures, and destroy your furniture. Yet millions do this daily with their thoughts. They open the door of their minds to worry, to gossip, to doubt, and then wonder why their prayers bear no fruit. The prayer of command cannot live in a mind that is divided. It thrives in clarity, in focus, in conviction. Each morning, before the world lays its hands upon your attention, sit in stillness. Center yourself and declare, only thoughts of power, peace, and purpose may enter my mind today. I am the guardian of divine truth. Nothing unworthy of my destiny shall pass the gate. Do this faithfully, and you will soon discover that your inner atmosphere becomes charged with calm authority. The storms of the outer world may rage, but they will find no entrance into your consciousness. This is how kings think. This is how creators walk. 2. The pillar of emotion, feeling the reality. Before it appears, most men try to sustain faith through effort, by repeating affirmations without feeling, by clinging to logic when what they need is emotion. Let me tell you something eternal. The subconscious does not obey logic. It obeys vibration. You may say, I am prosperous, 1,000 times. Yet if you feel poor, you broadcast lack. You may say, I am healthy, endlessly. Yet if you fear disease, you charge the air with illness. To sustain divine command, you must learn the art of emotional alchemy. To feel now the emotion of the thing desired, as though it were already here. When you pray for success, feel the joy of accomplishment rising in you. When you affirm love, let gratitude overflow as though your heart were already embraced. When you declare abundance, walk through your day with the quiet dignity of one who lacks nothing. This is not pretense, it is creation. You are shaping the invisible substance of reality with the mold of emotion. The universe cannot resist a mind that feels its truth. The masters of old did not hope their words would come true. They felt them into being. Christ did not beg the loaves to multiply. He thanked the Father, and the miracle occurred. That gratitude was the key. Gratitude is the emotion that bridges time. It carries the unseen into form because it proclaims, "It is done." Therefore, each time doubt whispers, silence it with thanksgiving. Each time delay appears, praise the process. Each time fear approaches, remind it that the result is already secured in the higher realm. When you feel this truth more than you fear appearances, manifestation becomes inevitable. 3. The pillar of repetition, impressing the subconscious with certainty. The third pillar of sustained command is repetition, not as empty ritual, but as the deliberate engraving of truth upon the subconscious mind. The subconscious learns through rhythm, through emotion, through persistence. It does not understand a prayer spoken once and forgotten. It responds to the steady drumbeat of conviction, the daily, rhythmic assertion that, "This is who I am, this is what is so." Every morning and night, when your mind stands between waking and sleep, you hold the key to creation. In those sacred moments, your conscious will and your subconscious power stand face to face. Speak then with gentle authority. See, feel, and affirm your desire as complete. Let that image soak into the fertile soil of your inner mind. Do it not with strain, but with certainty. As you do, the subconscious begins to believe. It starts to accept that your command is law, and what it accepts, it manifests. By aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances in ways your conscious mind could never plan. This is how faith becomes flesh. Now, let us turn our gaze inward again, for I would have you feel this truth rather than merely understand it. You are not a beggar before a throne. You are a vessel of infinite power. The current that spins the galaxies hums in your own heartbeat. When you pray with conviction, you are not asking a distant deity to intervene. You are awakening the God within you to express itself through form. To sustain that awareness, you must return often to stillness. Meditation is not withdrawal from life. It is alignment with Source. In that silence, you recharge your spiritual battery. You remember who you are. You rise above appearances. Every time you retreat into that quiet certainty, you strengthen the bridge between thought and manifestation. When I say meditation, I do not mean drifting into aimless vacancy. I mean conscious communion, the act of dwelling in the awareness of unity with the infinite. Sit, breathe deeply, and feel that invisible presence saturating your being. Then, from that inner sanctuary, give thanks for what already is. That gratitude becomes your shield and your sword. Let me give you an image, my friend. Picture the ocean. The surface is tossed by waves, winds of circumstance, tides of emotion. Yet beneath the surface, the ocean is calm, steady, unmoved. Your consciousness is the same. The surface mind reacts. The deeper self commands. To sustain divine prayer, you must learn to live from the depths, not the surface. When the storm of doubt rages, descend inward. When appearances mock your vision, go deeper still. There, in the silent depth, you will feel the unwavering current of faith. And when you return to the surface, you will bring that calm with you, a calm that transforms every condition it touches. Now, listen to this, for it is the essence of power. The moment you no longer need your prayer to be answered, it must be. Why? Because the feeling of need declares lack, but the feeling of knowing declares completion. When you release your word in peace, when you no longer grasp for results, but rest in assurance, you have aligned perfectly with the infinite, and manifestation must occur. You cannot cling and create at the same time. The open hand receives, the clenched fist only holds air. Therefore, sustain your prayer not through strain, but through surrender. Not to defeat, but to divine order. Say within yourself, "The power that made me knows what I have spoken, It moves now in silence to fulfill my word. I release it in peace. I rest in trust. I live as though it were already done. And then go about your day with quiet confidence. Act from faith, not fear. Speak from abundance, not lack. Expect the divine to perform its perfect work in perfect time, for it shall. It always does. My friend, the formula for divine results is not hidden from you. It has waited patiently in the silence of your own soul, whispering each time you believed, I am more than this body, more than these fears, more than these circumstances. You sustain it by living as that truth daily, by walking as though heaven has already said yes because it has. This is the posture of power. This is the prayer unbroken, when your thoughts, emotions, and words agree, when your faith is steady and your gratitude constant, when you live each moment as an embodiment of your decree, the universe bows to your command, not because you have forced it, but because you have harmonized with it. And that, my beloved listener, is the essence of sustained creation. In the next part, I shall take you deeper still, into part 3, the mechanics of manifestation, where I will unveil how the unseen forces of the mind, emotion, and vibration cooperate with the divine to produce tangible, physical results, the actual materialization of your command. But remember this as you close your eyes tonight. The infinite does not test your faith. It reflects it. Hold your mind steady, your heart grateful, and your words sacred, and the world will become your mirror. Listen carefully, for we now enter the inner workshop of creation, the hidden machinery by which thought becomes thing, and the invisible takes shape in the visible world. Here lies the secret that philosophers hinted at, prophets demonstrated, and the awakened live by each day. Every result in life, every fortune, every sickness, every joy, every sorrow, is born first in the unseen chambers of the mind. The world you see is not a cause, but an effect. It is a mirror reflecting the film that runs in the projector of consciousness. When you understand this, you cease fighting shadows. You begin instead to master the light. Creation does not begin with labor or with luck. It begins with impression. The infinite substance, that living field of intelligence from which all things arise, responds only to mental patterns impressed upon it with emotion and conviction. You do not push reality into form by effort. You mold it by awareness. To manifest divine results, therefore, you must understand 3 laws that govern the mechanics of creation. These laws are simple, but their simplicity conceals immense power. They are the law of mental blueprint, the law of emotional magnetism, the law of spiritual correspondence. When these 3 operate together in harmony, the invisible forces of the universe bend to your will, and the prayer of command becomes inevitable manifestation. 1. The law of mental blueprint, thought as the architect of reality. Everything built in this world began first as an image. Before the architect draws a line, the structure exists in his imagination. Before the artist lifts a brush, the painting already glows in his mind's eye. So, it is with your life. The infinite cannot create for you what you cannot first conceive. The picture in your mind is the instruction to the divine substance. If the picture is blurred, the manifestation will be confused. If it is sharp, detailed, and infused with emotion, the result will arrive with precision. To manifest with certainty, hold your ideal as clearly as the builder holds his design. See it not as a possibility, but as a present reality in the invisible. When you see a thing so vividly that it seems to breathe before your eyes, you have impressed the infinite with the image. That image becomes the pattern around which energy organizes itself. Do not confuse wishing with vision. Wishing is passive. Vision is creative command. Wishing says, I hope this might be. Vision declares, it already is. The mind must be trained to hold a single picture without wavering, for every doubt is a new blueprint. Every fear is a conflicting plan. The infinite builds according to the strongest and most sustained design. Therefore, your task is to refine your image until it stands complete in consciousness, the form, the feeling, the fragrance of fulfillment, and to return to it daily with faith until it burns into the fabric of your being. When that happens, your outer life will begin to rearrange itself in obedience to that inner command. You will meet the right people at the right moment, in the right way. Opportunities will arise that seem accidental, yet they are the inevitable outworking of your mental architecture. 2. The law of emotional magnetism. Feeling as the attractor of substance, thought is the design. Emotion is the power that animates it. Without emotion, thought is a shadow. Without thought, emotion is a storm. But united, they become magnetism. The infinite substance responds to vibration. Every feeling you hold emits a wave of frequency. Gratitude, joy, confidence. These vibrations attract like conditions. Fear, anger, and despair repel them. You cannot draw abundance while vibrating in lack. You cannot attract love while radiating loneliness. The emotion you sustain becomes the signal you broadcast to the infinite, and the infinite echoes it in form. To master manifestation, therefore, you must master emotion, not by suppression, but by transmutation. When fear arises, do not fight it, transform it. Recognize it as misplaced faith, faith in the wrong direction. Turn that same energy toward confidence in divine order. When impatience stirs, see it as a reminder that your faith has weakened. Return to gratitude, for gratitude is the emotional proof of belief. Gratitude says, "It is already mine." It anchors your vibration in completion. To sustain the proper emotional tone, make this your daily discipline. Before each action, pause and feel the state of the fulfilled result. Let that feeling infuse your movements, your speech, your decisions. If you wish to attract abundance, feel abundant before the evidence appears. If you seek healing, feel the glow of vitality within your body before it is visible. If you desire harmony, carry peace within your chest until discord cannot find you. Emotion is the language of creation. The infinite does not respond to words, it responds to vibration. Speak the language of feeling, and the universe will understand every command. 3. The law of spiritual correspondence, the inner and the outer. R1. The third law reveals the deepest mystery of manifestation. The outer world is always a mirror of the inner state. There are no external causes, only reflections. When you alter your inner pattern, the outer world must obey. This is not metaphor, it is law. The infinite operates through correspondence, meaning that every condition in your outer experience corresponds perfectly to the belief that sustains it. If poverty persists, it is because the image of lack remains alive in the subconscious. If conflict endures, it is because the vibration of resistance still governs thought. Change the inner cause, and the outer effect dissolves. Therefore, when you pray for transformation, do not battle the external circumstance. Go inward. Ask yourself, what belief in me sustains this pattern? What image am I projecting into the infinite substance? Replace the false belief with the truth of your unity with the divine, and reality will reshape itself accordingly. This is why sustained prayer, as taught before, is so powerful. Because it rewrites the code of the subconscious, which in turn reprograms the field of experience. Understand this. Every time you affirm your divine nature, you alter the structure of the unseen. Every time you give thanks for a result unseen, you send a signal to the infinite that says, "Continue in this direction." Every time you dwell in fear, you send the opposite command. You are, every moment, writing instructions to the creative intelligence of the universe. When your thought, emotion, and belief harmonize, manifestation becomes effortless. Now, let us consider the process in motion, how the invisible travels from mind to matter. Imagine thought as a spark. That spark, when charged with emotion, becomes a current. That current moves into the subconscious mind, which is the instrument of the infinite within you. The subconscious, once impressed, begins to vibrate in harmony with that pattern, attracting from the universal field the necessary elements for its expression. Ideas begin to flow, opportunities appear, chance meetings occur. But understand this. These are not coincidences. They are the outer crystallizations of inner order. The conscious mind gives direction. The subconscious executes. The infinite provides the material. That is the triune process of creation. You need not strain, for the infinite handles the how. Your task is only to sustain the vision, to keep the emotional vibration constant, and to act when intuition moves you. For intuitions is the voice of the infinite guiding you through the maze of material life. toward the exact fulfillment of your decree. When you follow that still small direction without fear or delay, you align yourself with the highest current of creation. Let this truth sink deeply. Manifestation is not manipulation, it is cooperation. You do not bend the infinite to your will, you harmonize your will with its purpose. And its purpose is always expansion, growth, and good. When your desire serves the greater order of life, when it contributes to creation rather than destruction, the infinite supports it with boundless power. But when your desire springs from fear or vanity, you disconnect from the current. Therefore, test every intention by asking, does this desire express more life, more joy, more harmony for all? If so, know that the entire universe stands ready to fulfill it, for the infinite is ever seeking to express itself more completely through you. Now, there remains one last key to the mechanics of manifestation, the law of release. After you have designed the blueprint, charged it with emotion, and impressed it upon the subconscious, you must let it go. Release is not indifference, it is faith in action. It declares, the work is done in the unseen, and I rest in that knowing. Many prayers fail because they are never released. The mind clings, questions, and interrupts the process. Just as a seed cannot grow if constantly unearthed, a command cannot manifest if constantly doubted. To release is to trust the process of life. It is to know that the infinite operates with precision beyond your conscious understanding. Let the how and when belong to the infinite. Your only concern is the what, the clear mental image, the living emotion, and the unwavering belief. Release, then, is not the end of creation, but its completion. It seals the circuit. It allows the invisible to solidify into form through channels the intellect could never design. Now, observe this. The speed of manifestation is proportional to the purity of your faith. When your belief is unbroken, results appear swiftly. When it is mixed with fear or contradiction, the process slows, for the energies at work are divided. Therefore, purify your belief daily through affirmation, meditation, and gratitude. Keep your mind single-pointed. When doubt arises, do not resist it. Dissolve it by returning to truth. What I have conceived in faith is already accomplished in the invisible. I thank the infinite that it is done. Repeat this until peace settles over you. That peace is the signal that the work is complete. Every great creation, every empire, invention, and healing has followed this same path. Thought conceived it. Emotion energized it. Faith sustained it. Action expressed it. This is not philosophy, it is law. The infinite responds to definiteness. The moment your idea becomes definite in form, emotion, and belief, the machinery of creation begins. Its work. The visible result may come as opportunity, as sudden insight, as a new connection, or as gradual unfolding. But it will come, for the law cannot fail. And so, the mechanics of manifestation can be summarized thus. Conceive, create a definite mental image of the desired outcome. Believe, charge it with emotion and conviction until it feels real. Receive, release it to the infinite, knowing it is already done. Act. Follow intuitive guidance with faith and gratitude. Between conception and realization lies only one barrier, the instability of human thought. When your thought remains steady, your emotion pure, and your trust complete, you become the living channel through which the infinite performs its perfect work. Remember this eternal principle. You are not attracting things, you are aligning with states. When you align with the state of wealth, opportunities appear naturally. When you align with the state of health, your body regenerates. When you align with peace, the world around you calms. Your environment bends to your vibration. Therefore, make it your daily work to sustain the vibration of what you desire, to become now the person who already possesses it. Speak, move, and think from that consciousness. Soon, the outer will conform to the inner. This is the sacred science of creation, the missing formula for divine results. You have been given the tools, the mind to design, the emotion to magnetize, the faith to sustain, the release to allow, the intuition to act. Use them, and you will discover that the infinite has never withheld anything from you. It only waited for you to remember who you are, a vessel through which divine intelligence expresses its limitless power. Hold this truth as a living flame in your heart. All things are possible to the consciousness that knows itself one with the Source. And when that knowing becomes your constant awareness, every word you speak shall be law, every prayer fulfilled, every desire sanctified by the purpose of the infinite moving through you. For that, and that alone, is the mechanics of manifestation. And now, beloved soul, we arrive at the summit. You have climbed with steady heart through the valleys of ignorance and the heights of revelation. You have learned that prayer is not a plea but a command, that faith is not a hope but a law, and that manifestation is not magic but alignment with the eternal rhythm of creation. But no truth, however radiant, can serve you unless it is lived. The final key is discipline, not the cold discipline of duty, but the warm constancy of devotion. To live in divine power is to practice awareness daily. Each sunrise is an invitation to create again. Each thought is a brushstroke upon the canvas of destiny. Each emotion is a signal broadcast to the infinite. So, rise each morning not as a servant of circumstance, but as a master of consciousness. Sit in stillness before the world awakens. Close your eyes and remember your unity with the Source. Feel within you that current of strength, wisdom, and peace which never ceases. Let gratitude rise like dawn in your heart. Then speak your word, calm, clear, unwavering. Declare not what you hope, but what is. Say, today, divine intelligence guides me. Divine power sustains me. Divine abundance flows through every channel of my life. All that I desire for good is already fulfilled in the unseen, and I give thanks that it now appears. Carry that certainty into every act. Walk with quiet confidence. Let your calm become your language, your serenity your testimony. Do not explain your faith, demonstrate it. For one life lived in conscious power speaks more loudly than 1,000 sermons. When challenges come, and they shall, do not curse them. They are the exercises of the soul, the weights by which your spiritual muscles grow. Every obstacle is an opportunity to reaffirm your command. When the storm rises, stand still and declare, peace, be still. That command, spoken from conviction, stills not only the outer tempest, but the inner turmoil from which all storms are born. Never forget, doubt is not your enemy. It is a signal calling you back to faith. Each time you overcome it, your authority deepens. Each victory of spirit strengthens the channel through which the infinite flows. There will be days when you feel weary, when the visible world mocks your vision. In those moments, retreat into the silence. Rest your mind in the awareness that divine order is unfolding perfectly. Do not measure by appearances. Measure by peace. For when peace reigns within, manifestation is already on its way. Let this become your unbroken rhythm. Stillness, affirmation, gratitude, and release. Like the beating of your heart, let this rhythm carry you through the hours until it becomes your natural way of living. And when at last you no longer think of prayer as something you do, but as the very state in which you exist, when every breath is a communion with the infinite, every thought a decree of power, every act a gesture of love, then you will know the secret that sages sought through ages. You are not praying to the divine. You are the divine, praying through itself. There, the circle closes. There, the seeker becomes the source. And as you walk henceforth through the world, do not boast of your knowledge, but let your life shine. Lift others with the light you now carry. Speak gently, live purely, give freely, and let gratitude be your constant companion. For gratitude is the perfume of the soul that knows it already possesses all. So, as this teaching draws to its close, remember, the infinite is nearer than your breath, wiser than your mind, more powerful than your will. You are its instrument, its channel, its chosen expression. Live as such, create as such, love as such, and the world, seeing your serenity and strength, will know that the missing formula has been found, not in words, but in being. Now, go forth and let your life itself be the final prayer, not spoken, but lived, not pleaded, but proclaimed, not forgotten, but eternal. Peace be within you, power be upon you, and may your every thought become light.